All right, let's get started. First things first, moisturizer. I use the First Aid Beauty Ultra Repair Face Moisturizer, which is also safe for sensitive skin, and I put it on my forehead and my cheeks, because those are my driest areas. Then I go in with the Tarte Face Primer, and the Timeless Smoothing Primer is what it's called, and I put it on most of the areas of my face. I try to avoid my nose and my T-zone as much as possible, though, because that's where I get the oiliest, and I actually rub that in with my hands. Then I go in with eye primer, and I use the Morphe Eyelid Primer in translucent. So important, probably the most important thing to keep your eyeshadow on all day, and it works awesome. It's super cheap at Ulta, so very affordable and definitely recommend. Then I go in with the JACLYN Hill palette, which is one of my faves, and I take the Morphe M504 brush and I blend the first color, I think it's called Silk Cream, into my upper crease area, and I just go back and forth in windshield wiper motions, just over and over again until I feel like it's blended out enough. Then I go in with my second brush, which is the MAC 224, and I use the color Pooter, which is like a matte cinnamon stick color, and I put that in the mid, almost like the outer crease, but also kind of the mid crease, if you want to put it that way. That's not a very good explanation, but I just kind of put it in there underneath the Silk Cream color, which was the first one, and I just go back and forth. The more color you use, the more your transition is going to work well for the shadows. After every color I use, you'll see me go back in with the Morphe 504 and just blend everything together. Then I go in with the Morphe JACLYN Hill JH15 angled crease brush, and I put that on the outer V. I really think it's important to just kind of get your eye prepared for the darkest color on the outside. At first it looks a little crazy, but it always comes out looking nice once everything is blended in. So you just go back and forth, until everything is blended out the way I like it. And then again, I go in with the M504 and just blend it all together. Then I am going to take my Morphe M433 brush, and I'm going to put that black color. It's called, oh gosh, what is it called? It's called Abyss, and I'm going to put that in my outer V as well, so that just to darken that up. And we're going to blend this out, so it might look a little intense at first, but we are going to blend it. And then I will go in with that same crease brush that I used before, the JH15, and I'm going to blend everything together again. Go back in with the M504, and as you can see, I'm just kind of taking each brush and just kind of going over the work that I did. A lot of it is just blending. Then I take my the MAC 242 brush, and it's a flat shadow brush, and that's used to pack on the eyeshadow. And I'm using the fifth shadow in the palette. It's called Hustle. It's like a shimmering taupey beige color. It's really beautiful. It almost has like a purple-ish tint to it, and I like it for green eyes, obviously. It just seems to work really well. Then I go back in with the M504 again. And then I will also take the M433 again with no additional black eyeshadow on the brush, just to kind of go over the work that I did and make it pop a little bit more. And I, again, just going back and forth, blending everything together, checking it, making sure it looks okay. Then I actually take a makeup wipe. I use the Neutrogena makeup remover ones. It's like the light blue package. And I clean up the edges with the makeup wipe. I don't like a really sharp edge. I actually like it to be a little bit more soft. So then what I do is I take my pinky finger and I lightly dab the edge of the shadow to blend it in so there's no harsh line. This is totally optional. You don't have to do this. Again, if you want that sharp edge, you can totally keep it, but I kind of create the line with my eyeliner in the future, so I just kind of stay there. After I do that, then I will go, and it looks like I'm actually going back in with a little bit more black shadow. But then after I clean all that up, I will look, make sure everything's even, and I'm actually going to go in with the best dupe for the Kat Von D tattoo liner, if you guys are aware with that. This is the NYX Epic Ink Liner in black. Absolute favorite dupe. It's $9. It's waterproof, smudge proof, etc. And I basically will go in and just go and make my line. I'm very picky about having a straight line, so sometimes I get a little carried away, but this time I didn't, which is great. And one tip I can give is if you follow your lower lash line and you draw up, that is a big help when you're trying to figure out the angle you want your brush at. So just keep that in mind. Now it's time for foundation. I'm going to go in. This is my Ride or Die foundation that I just put on. I just put it in a bunch of different areas on my face, and I actually use my hands to blend it in because I think it just makes everything a lot more seamless and really just helps everything look more natural and airbrushed. One thing that I always remember to do is use hand sanitizer before that, so definitely do that. But just so you know, I use the Tarte Amazonian Clay Foundation. It reminds me a little bit of Dream Matte Mousse. If you remember that from the 90s, but it's wonderful. I love it. I use the color 12B Fair Beige, and it's SPF 15, 12 hours, oil-free, all that good stuff. After that, I will also go in with concealer, which is another one of my Ride or Dies, is the Tarte Shape Tape, excuse me, in 12B, which I use the same color as my foundation, which is the 12B Fair Beige, but you can use a lighter one if you want it to be a little bit, a little bit more brighter under your eyes. And I go in with that, and I use a makeup sponge. My favorite is the Morphe Highlight and Contour Sponge. Then I went in with my tapered face brush, MAC 138, and I used a setting powder. This setting powder I used was KVD Translucent Locket Setting Powder. Works really well. Then I go in with my bronzer, which is the best. It's the Tarte Amazonian Clay Matte Waterproof Bronzer in Park Ave Princess, and it smells like freaking coconut. It's amazing. And I just put it on the parts of my face where the sun would naturally hit if I actually did go in the sun, which I don't. But it's great. I love it. It's my favorite. And the brush I used was the Morphe JACLYN Hill JH11, which is just a big powder brush. And I put it, again, I mostly focus it on my cheeks and then my forehead a little bit. I also, you obviously want to blend in your double chins. So I always try and do that as well. Next, I go in with my MAC 109, which is a small contour brush, and I use the same bronzer, and I'm going to make a line from that part of my ear down to like the middle of my face. If you almost try to imagine that you have an imaginary line that goes from the tip of your ear all the way to the corner of your mouth, and then you're just going to put it right in that kind of crease there, that your cheekbone crease, and just blend it. I use the brush to blend it. You can use some people like to use a sponge, whatever you want to do to blend it. Just make sure it's blended in so you don't look like a silly goose. Yeah, it's great. I love it. It's definitely my favorite. After I do that though, I always go back in, which you'll see me do in a second. I'll go back in with my makeup sponge and just kind of blend everything together. So after I do that, I also like to contour my nose, and I can totally do another video on contouring. Not an expert at it because I'm not, but I can definitely try. But yeah, so then I'm going back in with my Morphe, what's it called? Oh my gosh, makeup sponge. And now I'm going to do blush. And I use the Bare Minerals in The One with my MAC 168 brush. And I like to smile when I put on blush because it's just more fun that way. And then after I put it on, I go back in with my sponge and I kind of blend it all together. The one thing with blush though is that it does wear off a little bit easier than the rest of your face products. So it's okay to be a little bit more heavy-handed with blush right from the get-go. Then I go in with my MAC Skinnerlized Skin Finish in Soft and Gentle, and I use the Morphe JACLYN Hill JH14, which is a highlighter brush, and I put that on the high points of my face. So my upper cheekbones, just to give me a little bit of a glow. I don't like a stark, like really, really bright highlight, but I do like a highlight. So I put a little bit on, and then I always go back in afterwards, just to kind of blend everything together. I also like to put highlighter under my brow bone and then also in the corner of my eyes to really brighten up your eyes, make everything just look a lot brighter. It just seems to work really well. I've done that for a long time. I can't remember when I didn't do it, to be completely honest. Plus, it works really well to make the eyeshadow look come together. And I just really like how it looks. So there you go. And then what I'm going to do after that is I'm going to go in with my brush. It is the Sigma E30, and it's a pencil brush, so you can use any pencil brush. And I take the black shadow, which was Abyss, and I basically just put it as an eyeliner under my eye. I don't take it all the way in because you want to make sure that it makes your eyes look wider, not more closed. So I just bring it into the middle, and then I take my fingers and I just kind of blend it all together. Seems to work really well. Then I take my eyelash curler, curl my lashes. And the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to use mascara, but I'm going to take my mascara wand and I'm actually going to dab it, and you're going to dab it and then twirl it on the tissue or the makeup wipe. And that actually gets all of the clumps out of it. It's awesome. It's just kind of like a trick that I've done over the years. But this mascara is the Lancome Monsieur Big Mascara. I love it. It's amazing. Great volume, great length. I really like how it looks. I really don't like to wear fake lashes because I'm awful at putting them on. So this mascara makes up for that. Then I go in with my eyebrow pencil, and I actually use the e.l.f. Volume Plumping mascara also on my bottom lashes. Missed that part. But the e.l.f. Instant Lift Brow Pencil in taupe, and that's what I use there. It also comes with a spoolie brush on the other end, and it's my favorite because you basically put it on, and I only really put it on the bottom of my brows. I don't like to put it on the top because I don't think it looks as natural, and I like my brows to look a little bit more natural. So I then will go in with the spoolie and I'll just kind of blend it all out. It's just always worked well for me. I used to use the Anastasia Beverly Hills brow pencil, but it's really expensive, and this one was $3, so definitely recommend. Then my favorite liquid lip of all time, the KVD Everlasting Liquid Lipstick in Bow and Arrow. My absolute favorite. Wore it on my wedding day. Will always be my favorite. Discovered it when I worked at Sephora, and I just have never stopped using it because it's just so amazing. So definitely suggest that. Then at the very end, you can choose a setting spray. Setting spray is so important. The ones that I just showed, the white was a mattifying and the black was a just regular setting spray, and that's the one that I used. So thank you so much.